Hey, Power Profit Traders, Tom Gentile here. I thought I would spend this week talking about earnings season and how it's continuing. It's been a fantastic earnings season for myself using some very simple rules, which I shared with you a couple weeks ago. And so I want to talk about what I call the end of the sweet spot, which is happening right now. So in the video I shared with you 2 weeks ago, we were talking about being in the sweet spot, which is basically for this quarter, January to mid-February. Well, mid-February is now upon us. And as we're trading this last week or the week of mid-February, earnings reports are going to start to dwindle in numbers, as the majority of the S&P 500 will have reported by the end of this week. So I want to show you once again what I see that's happening right now for this week, all right, and which ones I'm most interested in as we come into earnings season. So that means let's go back and take a look at some information that I'm looking at right now. So this right here you're seeing are the earnings reports that are coming out this week that I'm paying attention to. Oxy, Twilio, Akami, ATVI, Groupon is on here. I'm not quite sure why that is. We'll skip that one. But you can see most of these are all penny pilot stocks. That means they have options that trade in inside the 5-cent bid-ask range. These all have earnings reporting Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday before the open. Look, there's NVIDIA and John Deere down there at the end. All right, so what do I do with this? Well, what I do is I, in effect, save all the stocks a week ahead of time that I'm interested in looking at, and I do a little bit more research on them. So I took these stocks and I went and put them into a ranker. And so what I'm doing is I'm taking that stock list and I'm going to see which ones had the best price change before the last 4 earnings. All right, so by doing that and running a search on that, I'm able to see which one of these have those price changes that I'm looking for. All right, and so as I'm looking at this, and let me just squeeze it in just a bit here. So you can see that Under Armour has had the best price change before the earnings report came out. It's moved on average 8%. Here's the problem. When I look at the last 4 quarters, it was -4, -8, +8, and +11. All right, these are percentage moves in the stock a week prior to earnings. Then I've got Activision Blizzard. 3 of the 4 dropped. All right, CVS. 2 went up and 2 went down. What I'm looking for is 3 or 4 of these moves to be in a positive direction. All right, we can take negatives. Negatives are fine as long as I got a bunch of negatives. Then I might want to be interested in looking at put options on Activision Blizzard. Come on down and let's look at Twilio. All right, that had a 7% drop, but the last 3 quarters were positive going into earnings. All right, and I just kind of move along, and I'm looking for patterns of stocks either going up or down. Here's Kinross Gold actually has moved slightly higher. Yelp has moved up a little bit too, 3 of the past 4 earnings quarters. So I look for patterns of either mostly negative or mostly positive. And then from there, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and take that number, and I'm going to go forward, and I'm going to see what those options look like going into earnings on those stocks. Now, the ones I'm really interested in are calls, and I'll tell you why. So let's get rid of Activision Blizzard, and let's look at Twilio, and then let me just double check and make sure I didn't miss anything as I'm moving along here. Again, more positives, less negatives. There's Groupon, but Groupon's a $3 stock, so we can kill that one. But here are 3 that we can look at on the screen, and I'll just take a look at see what anything else is on here. Williams Companies came up. That's it. Okay, so there's potentially 4 different stocks I can look at here. Now, what I want to do is I want to see, because of these are going higher into earnings, and because we have a money calendar, all right, the entire calendar of February, every day except for 2 days, has shown 9 of the last 10 years, the majority of stocks wanting to go higher. So let's take that information, and what I do is I basically go in and I start looking at call option opportunities in these companies. I want to make sure that whatever I'm buying is out past their earnings date. So all of these, I want to be looking at options that expire on the 15th this week. Now, I know you may be thinking to yourself, Tom, it's a little late to be telling me this because this is the week of the 15th, and it is, and I like to go into these about a week early, but I just want to show you patterns that you can see coming up into the following earnings quarter, which is only 3 months away. We're going to be doing this thing all over again. All right? Patterns are everywhere. The thing is that most people don't spend the time or even understand the opportunities to look for. That's my job here, is to show you these. I will continue to show you these type of patterns, whether they are seasonal, whether they are technical, or whether, in this case, they're actually fundamental. All right? Have a great day. Have a great week. We'll talk soon. Bye now.